Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business. The only thing the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge is missing is front-firing speakers. When you look at the spec sheet, it's waterproof, it has wireless charging, it's got a Quad HD 5.5-inch AMOLED screen, 12 megapixel bright cell camera for great low light performance. Yeah, this is my review and I'm going to dive into all those in a little bit more detail. First off though, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe. It's how you'll stay on top of everything that we do. Right, back to this phone, and you can see the design is beautiful. I'd say I'm going to just ruin my interface section a little bit. The edge elements of the UI just aren't going to sell this phone to anyone, definitely not me, but design wise the edge really does. It adds some beautiful curved glass to the front as well as the back. It's just elegant when you swipe in, it feels ergonomic, it's gorgeous. You've got a metal banding around the whole thing and that's what you tend to hold on to. You've got buttons which have really great click feedback. On the right is power, on the left is volume buttons. Down at the base is a micro USB, not USB Type-C, 3.5mm jack and a bottom firing loudspeaker. My only real criticism of the design is the home button protrudes, and if you have it face down on a surface in a pocket with maybe one or two other things in it, it can get scuffed. Not ideal for a phone that costs in excess of £600. Up at the top you've got that nano SIM slot, and you can also have a memory card in here as well. Fantastic job Samsung with that. 32 gig onboard memory supplemented by micro SD card up to 200 or so gigabytes. Around the back that 12 megapixel camera, and you've got a flash and a heart rate monitor as well. Glass front, glass back. Sure, it looks and feels elegant and quite fragile, but it's waterproof, so you can submerge it in water, take it out in the rain without having to worry about a thing. Sweet deal. In hand it feels rich. Smaller hands might have a few issues just because if you're kind of squeezing it trying to reach across, you might accidentally press the edge of the screen, so you can affect things like multi kind of tap and stuff like that, pinch to zoom, and accidentally pinch and zoom on stuff. But generally for me, with my huge hands, my 6'4" self, I definitely prefer the design of this to the S7. What I also prefer about it is that screen. 5.5 inches of Quad HD AMOLED screen resolution. Beautiful. It's sharp, it's vibrant, it has great viewing angles for an AMOLED screen. AMOLED screens of old have been kind of synonymous with slightly blue hues off angle. This trumps most LCDs that I've seen as well. So yeah, Samsung knocking it out of the park with the display as well as with that design. The design and display come together to deliver the smallest, most in-hand holdable 5.5 inch device that I have personally come across. So thumbs up. Inside the screen it's Android 6.0, so Android's overlaid with Samsung's user interface. There are some neat elements. You can have floating windows, for example. You can also have multi-window, obviously, like we've seen before. Samsung has some elements that I'm not such a huge fan of, for example the flipboard briefing screen, but you can get rid of that. You can also swap out themes, customizing your experience, and generally it's just a beautiful experience, especially when paired with neat applications that they overlay, which are better than Google's stock applications like S Planner, giving you a great widget that lets you overview your entire month. What's also cool is the notification tray is now a 2-tier pull-down tray and editable as well, bringing the best of Android with the best of Samsung's TouchWiz and other proprietary UIs. The applications tray is still there, so Samsung hasn't gotten too carried away, and yeah, generally really like it. It didn't have any issues in terms of stutter or slowdown. Just like the S7 Edge has an always on display. I really liked it. I thought it did a good job of showcasing my calendar. It adds color to always on displays, which I haven't seen before, and I didn't really care about the fact it didn't support third-party notifications. Gina found it too bright and really didn't like the fact that it didn't support third-party applications, so you're probably going to make a call based on your usage, but for me personally, it got a thumbs up. As far as the Edge screen UI goes, it's, like I said, a bit of a gimmick. You've got Apps Edge, you've got Tasks Edge, you've got People Edge, you've got Weather, you've got Quick. You can have a compass that comes in from the edge of your screen. You just don't need a curved screen to have this kind of stuff. So, like I mentioned earlier, the actual UI enhancements are a gimmick, but design-wise, the Edge absolutely kills it for me personally. You've also got something called Game Launcher, and that brings us onto multimedia. Game Launcher is paired with a Snapdragon 820 under the hood to deliver a pretty sweet gaming experience because you're not going to be disturbed. You can record the screen when you're playing games. You can also control just how much your phone actually interrupts you when you are playing games, and yeah, really, really cool. You can obviously play pretty much every game in the world on this thing. It's got a Snapdragon 820 with 4 gig of RAM. That 32 gig internal memory might not be enough for some of you gamers. Unfortunately, the micro SD card won't be inserted as adoptable storage or read as adoptable storage, so you won't be able to install games on there. But a lot more games are getting smarter about using SD cards, and hopefully maybe one day Samsung will change their minds about that one. The HTC 10 has adoptable storage. In my time with the phone when playing games, I didn't find that it overheated. I didn't find any slowdown anywhere. So yeah, gaming, big thumbs up. The only thing I will say, I covered up that speaker all the time. So what I'd suggest is get a gamepad with a holster so you've got the speaker exposed, or simply plug in headphones to the 3.5mm jack. There's an audio profile setup that you can do to make the audio better. It's deep in the settings somewhere. I definitely recommend you do that to ensure you get the best audio experience from the headphone jack that you can. Other multimedia is stunning on this thing. Suffice to say, the sound isn't so great with the bottom firing speaker, but so long as you plug in cans, Netflix looks great, movies generally play back beautifully on here. Obviously, with it being an Android device, you can just cast your device to Chromecast if you so wish, and Samsung's proprietary casting services as well. If you're looking to read on here, that's another real high point. The 5.5-inch screen is big enough. The contrast levels on the AMOLED display are beautiful, and I didn't find I was getting eye strain because it being an AMOLED screen made by Samsung, you can actually drop the brightness right down, and it's just really kind to eyes. As far as the camera goes, the 12 megapixel bright cell rear firing camera is one sweet deal. Not only is the automatic mode excellent, taking quick pictures, so often, well, first off, they're perfectly optimized for the screen, but they look a lot of the time like they're taken on a professional camera. So Samsung's nailed post-processing with this. Low light performance is also really good, best in class in a couple of respects. Color white balance can be a little bit off in really low light when it can't gauge the ambient lighting, and we found that in our camera comparison with the LG G5 and the iPhone 6s Plus, for example. But when it's good light, or even in low light, pure noise handling and general picture quality is top notch. So is 4K video as well as full HD video. Optical image stabilization keeps everything nice and steady, and selfies taken on the front firing camera are also really good. Sometimes maybe a bit too good, because you don't need to see this that close up. What you can also expect is fantastic connectivity. The fastest 4G speeds around with Cat6 LTE on board, which works on EE if you're here in the UK, and obviously Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, etc. The wireless charging really does wrap everything off perfectly with that 3600 milliamp cell under the hood. So it has a micro USB, easy to charge. Everyone has a micro USB charger. It supports both standards of wireless charging, which is great. That's a power mat and the Qi wireless charging. It also supports faster wireless charging as well, so you can get your charge even quicker. So between all of these options, you really will seldom run dry. And with such an ample battery under the hood, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge really is packing everything except for front-firing speakers. Agree? Disagree? Anything else you'd really like to see on this thing? Let us know in the comments section below. And make sure if you like the video, click that thumbs up button, and like the channel, subscribe. It's how you'll be staying on top of all of our videos to come. Thanks for watching. Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets, and business apps with O2 Business.